Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Swing Trade Newsletter. Hope you guys are doing well. And let's get started. So, interesting week in the markets here. Markets have made a comeback. Obviously, markets gapped down on the news when Trump was diagnosed with, coronavirus. But that obviously didn't hold true at all because in the end, technicals always win, right? And technically, we had this pattern here of you can sort of call it like an inverse head and shoulders or a cup and handle pattern, and this was a resistance area. And I told you guys that, hey, we get about 338, market gets above 338, we're going to go higher, right? Those were my words in the last newsletter. And guess what, market got above 338, and since then has worked its way over to 348. So nice 10-point move, which we have been able to capitalize on in the newsletter, because we had a lot of long positions going on, going into last week, which we exited most of them on Friday. We have about two long positions remaining, and we have one short position remaining. But we took profits on most of our long positions on Friday and Thursday, which was good. We captured this 10-point move and was able to capitalize with some winners. Where do we go from here now, right? So markets, to me, still look higher as long as we remain above $340. Markets are still strong and do have the potential to continue higher. But as you guys know, nothing goes up in a straight line, right? Nothing goes up in a straight line. So it's possible that, yeah, we're probably going to go higher, but it's very possible that we might want to pull back a little bit, right? Let this 8 EMA, 9 EMA catch up to the price, and then maybe there we go higher. So pullback is definitely on the cards. But again, overall, the market is looking higher unless some news happens, right? We are in a very interesting environment. We're trading in the middle of a global pandemic, right? In an election year with all the potential of riots and whatnot. So it's definitely not a normal environment, and it's very possible that some news event comes in on next week, and then we end up reversing course and we go lower. That's very, very, very possible. So something to keep an eye on. But as traders, why do we care? Right? We don't really care what the market does, up or down. What we got to do is we just got to trade the patterns we see, right? Take the emotions out, take all our, whatever we're thinking, take all of that out and just focus on the chart. So as long as we trade the patterns, we have a mix of longs and short in our portfolio, and in the end, that's really what matters. So talking about that, overall, it's also possible when you look at the higher time frames, let's say like the weekly chart or even the monthly chart for that matter, look at the monthly chart of the market. We clearly see that this trend line here has been resistance. Every time it touches it, it comes down. So it's possible that we might actually just want to go up, retest that, and then from there we get a pullback. So that's why I think markets overall look like they want to go higher, and then we could potentially get some pullback. Taking a look at the QQQ ETF for Nasdaq, similar situation, although Nasdaq has been a little bit weaker, compared to the Qs. So you can see here, when S&P broke its resistance, right, it continued for 3 green days. Qs, the Nasdaq has actually not broken resistance until on Friday, right? So Qs didn't break its resistance until literally on Friday. We closed a little bit above this area and green, which is overall bullish, right? Overall bullish, and markets do look like they want to go higher. But the reason for the Nasdaq to be a little bit weaker than this S&P is mainly because of the higher time frames. You look at the higher time frame, look how extended the Nasdaq really is. So Nasdaq is very extended. So I've not been really focusing on stocks like Microsoft, Amazon, Google, just because they trade too similar to the market. And my goal as a swing trader is not to trade stocks that move with the market, because if they're going to move with the market, then what benefit do I have? I might as well just trade the market. So that's why I look for these obscure stocks that don't really have anything to do with the market. Nobody's watching those stocks, but then they finally start moving, and then everybody starts watching it. And when everybody starts watching it, guess what we do? We sell it to them, right? So let's kind of go over some of our trades from the newsletter. Last week we had this CLDX, really good trade. We took this long position around $13. Right over here is where we bought it, around $13. And beautiful trade. It popped up and we ended up getting out right about there. So it was a beautiful, nice trade for us there. And again, this is where everybody started watching it. And we said, okay, you can take our shares, right? Because we were in it at 13. Now, yes, overall, it might go higher, but who cares, right? We got over 2-1 on this trade, and that's what matters. So that was one of the nice trades we had. Another nice trade we had was Luckin Coffee, LKNCY. Nobody was looking at this stock. It was dead, literally not going anywhere. We purchased this at $3.30. Boom, popped up, and we sold it over $5. 5.15 is when we ended up getting out when everybody started watching it, and now it's back down to 4. So again, really good trade by us there. I still like it though. So if let's say it gets one more red day, and then next day we get a green day, yeah, I would look to probably buy it and see if it can continue higher. So I'd still like it, still keeping it on my watch list, but not anything that I'm in right now. Another gorgeous trade we had on on Friday. We hit target on this one was Lemonade, LMND. Beautiful trade. So this is a classic pattern. I actually have a YouTube video on this topic. It's called How to Trade IPOs. If you have a Live Traders backend in the dashboard, you might be able to see it there. So this was my How to Trade IPOs pattern. IPO comes in, stock comes in, goes up, and then goes all the way down. People stop caring about it. It keeps going down. And then one of these days it breaks above this trend line. And that's exactly where we bought it, right over here. So we ended up buying it around 50, 52, 53, and boom, popped up, closed literally at $68 on Friday. We ended up getting out around 65, 66. Again, beautiful trade by us. Even though it went much higher, we got our target, and then that's what matters, right? So great trade on the LMND. Another great trade we had in the newsletter was GLDD. GLDD. Right, so this is another stock. We bought it long right over here at $9.70, and we sold it right at the next prior resistance around 10.62. So again, great trade by us. Again, I think this stock eventually goes much higher, but the reason I got out is because you get multiple green days in a row right into resistance. I had to take that, and we can always rebuy it if it pulls back, right? So GLDD, another good trade by us in the newsletter. And a lot of other trades that were fantastic trades. I mean, there's a lot, pretty much everything I called has done a fantastic job. Now, these were the ones that we were able to capture some gains on, but there was a lot of other stocks that I called. But man, like this one, ACRS, remember this one? So this one we called long. I look at this stock, it makes me sick to my stomach. So we bought it long in the newsletter at 280. 280, we bought it long, boom, popped up to 340. And I raised my stop loss just because, that day the market was gapping down. I was like, I don't know, the market's gonna come in, if Trump has some issues or whatever, So I raised my stop, and look at what it came down just enough to take all of my shares. So we still made money on the trade, right? But not as much as I wanted to. And now look at this stock. Oh my God! So we were like literally right on this trade. But that's trading for you. That happens all the time. Another trade that happened to us on was actually this one, True, on Friday. So another trade we got in, True. We got in right over here. Boom, beautiful move. We got in at 520 area. It went up to almost $6 on Friday. But then I don't know what happened. It almost came all the way back down. So I just dumped it for a teeny mini gain, better than losing on it. So that was our trade on the True. So looking at the spreadsheet now, overall we're doing a pretty good job. We're up, if you're risking 2% as your R unit per trade, you're up 57% for the year. If you're risking 1% per trade, you're up almost 29%. Which is, again, pretty damn good because it's way better than the market. Another brilliant trade we had, which, again, two more that freaking annoyed me a little bit because, they just didn't move when I wanted it to. So we bought SPCE long at 21 bucks, went as high as 22.54, but then I raised my stop in on Friday, it took me out. So, I'm like, all right, if it pulls back, maybe I'll rebuy it. But for now, I'm out of this thing. Another one we had, which again shook me out by a little bit, was DDOG, DDOG. So we got in at $108. It popped up to 109. I raised my stop loss to 101.14, and it just freaking dipped down enough to take me out. And now, boom, it's doing exactly what I expected. So again, what I'm trying to show with this is that's trading, right? Nobody really knows what the stock's gonna do. There's no right way to trade a trade. There's no right way to manage a trade. All you can do is just, do what you see, trade what you see, and what's going to happen is probabilities will happen. Some will do exactly what you want, and you will be trading it perfectly, right? Like CLDX, like LMND, exactly as per plan. Some, they might just shake you out, and then that's part of the game. You're not going to win every single time, and that's what you got to realize and get to know. So for me, that was that. But overall, we're doing a pretty good job. Here we locked in small winner on SPCE. We made money on LMND. We made money on GLDD. We made money on ALTR. We made money on ACRS, right? We made teeny weeny money on True. We made money on LKNCY. We made money on CLDX, ISEE. So all of those profitable trades, and we are still in 3 positions right now. Which one of them I think probably we will be out on Monday is this BB. So we shorted BB at $4.50. It went as low as 4.37, but obviously market has been really strong. So the market's going up, so will the stock. So the stock went up and it went up to 474. My stop loss is at 476. So we'll see if it can hold on Monday. Awesome. But if it doesn't hold, we'll probably be out of this thing on Monday morning. And that's fine with me. No problems there. On a good note, the 2 long positions that we are in are looking pretty good. One of them is NXTC. So we bought this stock long at $10.30, and it went as high as $11.78. So it did a really, really fantastic job for us. So now what I've gone ahead and done is I've raised my stop loss to 10.52. So worst case, we'll make 20 cents or so on the trade. That's the worst case. So we're going to make money regardless, right? Best case, it holds it and continues going higher, and then we can get a nice gain, and that's what I'm looking for. Another good note is BIGC, another trade that we are in. We call this in the newsletter and do a fantastic job. So we purchased this stock, as you can see here, at $89.80, and it went as high as $98.70. It almost went to $100 from 89 entry, and it closed really, really nicely. Strong move on Friday, closed around $98. I am going to go ahead and raise my stop loss to Friday's low, which is 92. So again, worst case, we're still going to make money on this trade. Best case, it continues going higher. So we're in a good position on this one. Now that we've gone over that, let's kind of quickly take a look at something of concern, which is the S&P on a McKellen oscillator. So McKellen oscillator is basically something that I use only for the market. I don't use this oscillator on stocks. I don't believe in it at all. I don't use this on stocks, only on the S&P and the QQQ is where I end up using this. And a lot of people ask me the question, hey, on TradingView, where do I find this indicator? I can't find it. So here's how you find it. You go on indicators, right? And you go right over here and you just search McKellen oscillator, but under public library, right? You go click public library, you type in McKellen oscillator. I mean, I already have it on my chart, but it'll come up in public library rather than built in. So looking at the McKellen oscillator, you are at a overbought territory. So just something to keep in mind. It shows that we are overbought. But as you guys know, that's the alert level for me, right? This red line is not a level where I would necessarily go short and say market stopped out. That's just an alert level, meaning, hey, let's watch it. Market is a little bit overbought. Let's be cautious. That's all it is. The real overbought level, which is of concern, is right over here, because you can see that, right? The highest that it went previously was over here. So in McKellen oscillator, that is the peak. So once we start inching up towards over 200 on McKellen oscillator, that's where I will start to be a little bit concerned, and then maybe just dump my longs and start looking for shorts. But right now, I'm still doing longs, no problems there. But just again, keep in mind is that we have to be alert. And we have to be nimble. Nimble meaning, hey, let's not look for home runs. Let's keep raising our stop loss. If the trade works, awesome. If it doesn't work, so be it. Right? But that's the whole idea, is just to be objective in this market environment. Okay. So that being said, I have a bunch of swing trades for you today, just like last time, and which is very interesting actually, because if you're joining us new to the newsletter, this is not how it's always been. Usually in every newsletter, I have about maybe 3 trades, 4 trades, maybe 5 trades at best, right? So that's how usually we've done it. And at any given time, we're usually in 2 to 3 positions, sometimes 4 or 5, right? But right now in October, what I'm seeing personally is a lot of opportunity, right? And so that's why those who've been in the newsletter for a while, you're like, holy shit, what's happening, right? I only used to call 2, 3 trades, and now I'm calling like thousands of swing trades a day. And that's because I'm seeing opportunity here towards the end of the year. And I don't want to be sitting on my hands and, just waiting for things to happen. If I see something I like, I will trade it. And that is exactly what we're going to do today as well. So let's go over our new trades that I'm calling. One of them, our all-time favorite, SUPN. I think we've been trying to trade this short for, I don't know how many times we've traded this in the newsletter. But, maybe it's ready now. So let's go back to the chart over here. So SUPN. SUPN. We're looking at the chart right now. What you see here is, markets are strong. Markets are going up. And this stock is not able to go up, right? I mean, look at that. The stock's actually going down while the stock market is going up. So this is, if you compare, it's called relative weakness. Relative to the market, this stock is weaker, right? That's what I'm saying. So what I like is on Friday, it left a topping tail. It tried to go higher, but it left a topping tail, right? Which is obviously not a bullish sign. So my thinking is pretty clear. If it goes higher, let it go. Who cares, right? We're not going to trade it. But if it doesn't go higher and it comes back down, let's say next week, like this, then I want to short under this support, put my stop loss above here, and then look for a move down because that's the pattern that it's currently in, right? That's the pattern that it's in. Lower high, lower low, right? Lower high, lower low. So this could be a lower low, and maybe this could be a lower high, and then maybe we make a new lower low and continue the downtrend like that. So that's kind of my thought process with this Supin SGPN. One I have on the long side, a very small price stock, SNES. So SNES, again, dead stock going sideways, dead, phase one sideways trend. Maybe it's transitioning into phase two uppercut pattern. So I'm looking to trade this long above $2.22 with a stop loss at $1.76 and look for almost $3 as our target. So that is this SNES. Okay. All right, next one on the list, we have WWE, Worldwide Wrestling, another stock that we have shorted before in the newsletter. This is one that we previously shorted over here, and we got out for a profit over there. And now, again, I'm thinking maybe this is a lower high, maybe it could make a lower low. So I'm looking to short it under this little pivot, stop loss above here, and then look for a move continuation down on World Wrestling Entertainment. People even watch wrestling anymore? I don't know. I used to watch it as a kid. I used to love it. But I don't know if people still watch it anymore. But anyways, that's that. Then we have DGLY. This is a stock I've already called in the last edition of the newsletter. It just has not triggered, but I'm keeping it valid. So I want to look to buy this stock over 254. Look to buy it over 254, which is over this high here, above the 50-period moving average. Stop loss, put it at $2, and then look to see if it can get a move to the upside on DGLY. Next one I have on the list is Nikola, NKLA. Right, NKLA, again, stock that was super strong, came all the way down below the 200 MA, but now it's been acting strong recently. We have a consolidation on NKLA right below the 200 period moving average. So if it gets back above this resistance, gets back above 200 MA, which will also be above the 21 EMA and the 9 EMA, I think this could potentially get a move higher. So I want to keep an eye on NKLA. Again, the exact numbers of when to get in, when to get out are all going to be in the newsletter, so make sure you pay attention to that. Next one on the list is UONE. So UONE, another stock that was super strong, beaten down, going sideways recently, showing some strength and sign of resurgence. I think if it gets above 8th October's high of 685, 686, it could potentially get a move higher. So looking to buy this one long as well. On the short side, I have ZGNX, Zogenix, whatever this company is. So stock that's been beaten down, extremely weak, but it's been, gapped down on this day. And since it gapped down, it hasn't really been able to move higher. It's been going dead sideways. So I'm looking to short it as a breakdown pattern. So it takes out support, right? Look to short it and take it down lower. So that is on the short side. Another one on the long side, which I've already called previously, it just hasn't triggered, so just keeping that valid, HDBX. Another stock that was strong, beaten down, showing some sign of consolidation. If it gets above this consolidation of $1.44, potentially this one could move higher as well, so looking to trade that on the long side. All right, and then we have two more longs. One of them is Kodak, another crazy stock. Strong move, beaten down, going sideways, showed some sign of a little volume spike on Friday, showing that something's going on. Nice green candle, so I'm looking to buy this above Friday's high and see if this can spike higher. So you guys might have noticed that a lot of the patterns on the long side that I've called are pretty similar, which is stocks that were crazy, then became less crazy, right? Then now started to stabilize and maybe getting ready for a gear up. So that's kind of what I'm looking on for these trades, all right? Last but not the least, AOUT. AOUT, again, same thing. IPO came in, American Outdoor Brands, IPO, spiked up, came down, sideways consolidation. And then on Friday, it broke above this sideways pattern, right? And left a nice inside sort of candle. Oh, not really an inside candle because it took about above. So I'm thinking if it gets above Friday's high, this could continue to go higher. So I'm looking at AONE as a long trade as well. AOUT. All right, so those are all the new long trades. I have a lot more, by the way. I mean, I'll share that with you. I'm keeping an eye on this PLG as a long if it gets above 270. I'm watching this AQB long if it gets above 520. I'm looking at this BJ restaurant, not the kind of BJ you guys are thinking, but BJ's restaurant. Looking to buy that above like 33.30. I like this JMIA. You know, it was a nice trade over here. I missed it. Now I'm looking for a pattern. Looking to also buy this VYNE above like $2. But again, these are just ideas. These are just something that I'm watching. These are not official trades. The official trades will be in the newsletter with the entry, stop loss, and target. These are additional stuff that I'm watching and keeping an eye on, right? Like another one I'm watching is VCNX, VaccineX. I mean, above Friday's high. Friday got a huge volume spike. This one looks pretty good. Rocket Companies, RKT looks pretty good. So again, a lot of stuff I'm watching. I do like a lot of opportunity, which is very interesting how we're seeing a lot of opportunity here in the month of October. And I want to basically make the most of it, right? And we've already done a pretty good job for the year, and let's keep it going. So these are all the active trades that I'm waiting for it to trigger on. Numbers for those will be in the newsletter. And hope you guys have a good one. Take care.